Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. I wanted to go into the video in regards to the $1 bill. A lot of people spoke about this already, but I'm going to go a little bit more in detail. I already wrote about it in my book as well, called Exposing the Ways of the Wicked. Y'all can check that out on my website, devretclarke.ca. It's in regards to exposing the ways of the wicked and what this world is right now. So I live in Canada, but I did have a dollar bill on me, so I checked it out. You could Google it as well. Just look it up and it will come up there. Look at the back of it, and it's the older ones where it has a pyramid on one side, and on the opposite side it has the eagle with the olive branch in his hand, in his foot, you know, and it's tightly on his foot, because if you realize what an eagle is, it has sharp, strong legs, and it uses his feet to hunt. You know, I'm gonna actually, if you could take a look at the video, you can see the eagle hunting and grabbing big animals and dropping them with his tight, firm grip. I'm gonna pull up a couple scripture verses and I'm gonna get back into this. Alright, so I got a couple scripture verses for you I'm gonna bring up in regards to this, to expose this US dollar bill. A lot of people don't know about it, so it makes sense I make a video still to refresh their minds for the new ones, and refresh the minds of the old that may have missed out certain portions of this exposing of it. Got one more thing to pull up real quick. Hold on. Alright, so I'm gonna ask that y'all have the dollar bill in front of you. The American dollar bill, the old one, I think they still have it in motion, with the pyramid and the eagle. So now I want you to start at the left side. I want to start at the left side of the bill. And on the left side of the bill, you're going to see, you got to ask yourself, there's a pyramid. So the first thing you're going to ask yourself while you're seeing this pyramid, why is there a pyramid on a United States dollar? You don't see no pyramids in America. As we all know, where are pyramids? Where were the pyramids left? They're in Egypt, right? So Egypt has the pyramids. So why would they put it on their money? But it signifies something more, and I'm about to get into it in a minute. So let's start off with the pyramid, and why did it come from Egypt? So let's go into scripture verse for that. Let's start it off with why they're there. Why are we in captivity? Because you got to look again at that dollar bill and look at the pyramid, and you're going to look around the circle of it. You're going to see, first off, you got the all-seeing eye, which is the Illuminati evil. And you're gonna look at the ring of it. It's basically barbed wire again, right? It has the same thing on the opposite side, but you're gonna see barbed wire around the circle part, as well as water. Water is important, but look at the barbed wire. Look at the barbed wire, and I'm gonna say why that's barbed wire, because that's captivity. It's called being enslaved. When you're in barbed wire and they got barbed wired fences up, they're basically showing you that you're captive. When you go to a prison, they have barbed wire at the fences so that you do not escape. Alright, so let's go. Alright, so I'm going to go into Exodus chapter 20 and 2, where it says, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. So let's start again at the left side of the dollar bill. You're going to see the pyramid. You got to understand, where you come from your left to go to the right, you're usually reading. When you're reading a book, you start from the left side of the page and you go over to the right side and you finish on the right side. You understand? You start at the left side and you finish on the right. So it's just like a picture. If you're watching a movie, they're going to put the picture to start and it's going to stream and go to the right side. So that's why you'll see they made sure to put the pyramid on the left side, and which is Egypt, and what you see on the opposite side is America, where it ended, because this is where the second captivity comes into play. So I'm going to read the first verse again. Exodus chapter 20:2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. So that house of bondage is Egypt, where we were dealing with Pharaoh. The Israelites were dealing with Pharaoh and all the wickedness that he had, putting the people in, basically slaves. I'm going to go into another script. Alright, so I'm going to go into the dollar bill and explain it now. If you look at the bottom of the dollar, you know where the water is, you see the barbed wire and then it meets up with the water. In the middle of it, there's a little gap in between. That represents Moses and Aaron parting the sea. When they're parting the sea, they basically went to the middle. You know, that's what this dollar bill represents right now. They're showing you right in our faces that we are the chosen people, because this is what we're living in right now, where that water meets. You notice the water cuts off and there's like a little opening there. That's called the parted sea. You understand? That's the parted sea where Moses cried unto the Most High to flee from Pharaoh, and the Egyptians. So I'm going to read a scripture verse off of that for you as well and just show you why that is. I'm going to start off with Exodus chapter 14 and 21. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. Verse 22, and the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left hand. I'll read that again. That's verse 22, and the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. I want you to jump down to 28. And the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the host of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them. There remained not so much as one of them. So that's Exodus chapter 14, 21, verse 22, going to in 28. So now you got to look at why. Basically, that portion of it, you already know that the Egyptians were done with. Pharaoh and everybody was done. So the parting of the sea, it returned upon them and they got captured and it swallowed them whole. You understand? And that's why we got away with them and we left that form of captivity. But while they were in the wilderness, they rebelled against the Most High. And while they rebelled, the Most High didn't like it. So he gave an option to the children of Israel as the Most High spoke to Moses. I'm going to read that right now real quick. Go to Deuteronomy 28 and 15. Deuteronomy 28 and 15. So this is what Moses was speaking unto the children of Israel. So the Most High is speaking to Moses to tell the children of Israel. So it says in chapter 15, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So from that point on, the children of Israel didn't keep the commandments clearly, and they had to face the destruction through these curses. I'm going to read another verse in Genesis chapter 15 and 13, where it says, verse 13, and he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Who has been in slavery for 400 years? Right there, it's telling you who are the chosen people upon this earth. It's not the fake Jews that are here right now. If they were cursed, how are they living so blessed right now, where you can't even see them because they're living in the richest areas. They got the most money there. You know what I mean? They're well respected. If you speak badly about them, you make sure you have to apologize. All these celebrities apologizing. Look at Nick Cannon. Look at they're apologizing to these people just because they made some kind of anti-Semitic tone against them, when in truth that's hypocrites. You know, that's twofold, because at the end of the day, you can't be anti-Semitic when you are the real thing. You can't be anti-Jew. That's like saying I'm anti-black when black is Israel. You know what I mean? We're Israelites. So I'm not going to say I'm an anti-Semitic when I am a real Jew. We are real Jews. We are the chosen. You understand? All right. So as you can see, that's another. I'm going to pull up another one just stating where it shows 400 years. I'll read that one more and I'll go back into the new one. So Genesis chapter 15, verse 13. Verse 13. And he said unto Abraham, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. Now I want you to jump over to Acts chapter 7, verse 6. And God spake unto this wise, that his seed should sojourn in a strange land, and that they should bring them into bondage and entreat them evil 400 years. Notice that 400 years is made sure it's specific. Who went through 400 years? Did those fake Jews that are here now go through any form of 400 years? You know, did they do anything form of slavery in that long? The Holocaust didn't last that long. They didn't go through 400 years of slavery. And to be honest with you, they're living good now. They're not even facing any form of curse. You know, our God was taken away from us. Why do we share a God right now with the Edomites? Why do we have to look up to their white format of Jesus that looks like them and not us? You understand? While every other nation upon this earth, they're not serving them. They're not serving these, you know, unless they choose to. But every other nation, they have their own deity. We have our own God, the Most High Yah, and he ain't white, I'll tell you that. So we shouldn't be serving what the white man is serving. So as you can see, I'm still on the middle of the dollar bill. I'm gonna read up one more chapter, scripture verse for you in Ezekiel chapter 29 and 14. And I'll bring again the captivity of Egypt, and will cause them to return into the land of Pathros, into the land of their habitation, and they shall be there as they are a base kingdom. So as you can see, the children of Israel were cursed again because they didn't keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, and now have to face, you know, another form of captivity. So as you can see within the dollar bill, there's a gap. That's where Moses parted the sea, and then we got rid of the left side. Now we're on the right side, and you can see the wave has come again. There's a new wave. There's a new wave, and a new wave you enter in onto the eagle. You'll see the eagle, but again, what do you see in the circle around the eagle? That barbed wire again. So it's a new form of captivity. That's what that symbolizes, captivity. The barbed wire. The barbed wire is the captivity. I want you to zoom in on that picture, get as close as you can, and look at his feet. What's in the left foot, the right foot? You know, we're looking right at it, but for its right foot, what do you see in it? The olive branch, right? What does that symbolize? What does that symbolize when it comes to any story within the Bible? It symbolizes Noah. It symbolizes the dry land, right? But what else it symbolizes? It symbolizes the children of Israel being captured. So being within the foot of the eagle, it's showing you that the Israelites were captured and being held. Because you got to remember, they took the sea. They left the sea when the dry land or the old earth passed away, when the flood came and washed off all that iniquity. When Noah was in his boat, he's basically showing you that that little dove took that olive branch and brought it back to the ship to make sure dry land was there. Remember when they sent the bird out like 2 to 3 times and it came back twice with nothing, and then the third time it came with the olive branch? It's showing you right there that that's the dry land. But if you notice it's captured in the eagle's foot. And again, when you have a grip like that from that eagle, he's not letting go. And you got to look at what we're dealing with right now in slavery still, because the Edomites, they still have a grip on our heads. You know what I mean? On our people. We're still facing police brutality. We're still facing hate and perpetual hatred that they have for us continuously. You know, and that's why they're trying to hold us down in life. And if you look at it, they have a hard grip upon us. If you look in the eagle's mouth, it has a ribbon, you know, or you could say a veil. What did they put over Christ when he got crucified? They put a term over his head, right? I wrote that in my book. I don't have the details right now what it was written, but I think it was King of the Jews. King of the Jews. So they're basically showing you what he has in his mouth, what he's speaking. And if you refer back now, you go right back over to the middle of that page. What does it show you of the dollar bill? What does it say in the top? In God we trust. Some of them say in God we trust. So it's showing you that it's mocking at the same time, because their God is their money. They trust in their money. Yeah, we as Israelites, we trust in the Most High, because even during slavery, we always stayed in prayer. Right till this day, anybody that's going through the hardships of long suffering, every day we're still in prayer. We're still giving God thanks for the little bread that we have to break and share amongst one another. So that's why we trust in the Most High. You understand? Our God and their God is different. Their God is money and power and, you know, evil. But our power is the Most High, Yah, who we depend upon. So during slavery time, even poverty time for many of us, we always called on the Most High at our worst times in our lives. Well, they didn't. They cared for money more than anything. Again, now you could look into the other foot of the eagle. That would be his left foot. Looking at him, the picture, of course, it would be the right side, but you'll see arrows. Now you think about arrows, what are you thinking about? Who usually use these things? It's going to be tribes. There's 13. I wrote it in my book already, but I'm going off of freestyling right now. So there's 13 within his left foot. What does that symbolize? Why is that number 13 so special? Again, how many children did Israel have? Who is Jacob? How many children? He had 12 children, right? The 12 children, it represents the 12 tribes. However, there's a 13th tribe which makes up the 12 tribes as well, which is through Joseph. You know, having 2 children, and that formed the one tribe. You understand? So that's why it has 13 tribes there. Because Joseph's actually represents, you know, the extra tribe, but it's actually 2 coming to 1 with his 2 children, his 2 sons. So that's why I went more into detail within the book. I know I'm kind of off guard right now, not really the best at speaking, but you check out the book with my writing. You can check it out and see that I put that in detail to why that is 13. They made sure to put that number 13. They made sure to put the olive branch to show that, you know, the Noah's Ark, to show the land and who the people are. It make sure to show the eagle. It made sure to show the ribbon. So I'm going to go back into Deuteronomy. No, I'm going to go to Obadiah now. Chapter 1, verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. He's talking about Esau in that whole chapter. Who is Esau? The Caucasians. You understand? So if you look at it again, go back to the dollar bill, you're going to see why it's a dollar, why it's an eagle. That's what their representation is. And if you even want to go further, go look up the flag of Egypt. Look up the flag of Egypt. And what do you see in the middle of the Egypt flag? You're going to see another eagle. You understand? Go pull that up. You'll see an eagle in the middle of their flag as well. Again, man, my speaking ain't the best right now. Go check that book out, Exposing the Ways of the Wicked, where I go into more detail about this. This is all about captivity. Leaving one form of captivity and going into the other. Do the math, you know what I'm saying? You got the pyramid on the left side, that's where we came from. We went into the sea as the first wave, and we got the sea parted. We went into the second wave. We're going into America now as slaves, because we were brought by slave ships. I'm going to actually pull that verse up for you. I'm going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 28 and 48 through 49. Therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, that he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. Verse 49, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. When we came to Americas, we didn't understand what the hell these people were saying. English ain't our first language. Hebrew is. So when we came over here, we're hearing English. And that's what this is all about. It just backs it up right there. Because if you look at 49, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. Notice it uses these terms, eagle, again. Look at the eagle. It's showing you America. It shows you that even Egypt today still has a flag as, the eagle. So I want you to go down to Deuteronomy 28 and 64 through 65, where it says, verse 64, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. I wrote about that in my other book, as well as the other video I made in regards to wood and stone. I went into detail about that already. In regards to people serving Christianity and turning into Muslims, and serving these false gods, the wood being the Christian cross, where they sit in the cross and they basically pray into the cross and worship in the cross. And in Mecca, within the stone, you'll see in the stone within Mecca, where people are bowing down onto it and kissing it and praying onto this stone. That's within Mecca. So that's what it means there. I'm going to go into verse 65. And among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart and a failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. You think about the last term there, sorrow of mind. It comes down to the fact of what's going on with a lot of us right now. We're trying to get away from the heathen, and we're mental oppressed. They're keeping us mentally oppressed to the point where we can't even focus, because now they're occupying our brains and stealing our thoughts. They're stealing everything that we have within ourselves, and it's worse. Slavery was something, but slavery was major. But this is adding on to it to the point where now we may not be in chains, we may not be whipped, but we have the mental block on us. We have chains within us, within our brains now. They have a hold on our brain where they know every thought that we're having. That is the worst thing that could happen to you. And it's happened all over the world. And I want you to jump down to the last verse in Deuteronomy 28. So go to 68. That's Deuteronomy 28 and 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. If you look at the picture again, that's a new form of it as well. Those waves in the middle are a form of slavery. As I said, the old wave was Egypt, and now the new wave is going back into slavery by slave ships, because you had to cross over by water. That's why I mentioned water earlier in the video. But if you look at it, it's all about control, it's all about slavery, it's all about bondage, it's all about captivity. And this has everything to do with the children of Israel, who are us. Because if you continue to look at this, they're putting it right in our faces. Egypt, why would they have a pyramid on a dollar bill from the United States? I have yet to see a pyramid anywhere in the United States. It's in Egypt. Most of the pyramids you'll see are in Egypt. So that's what it symbolizes. And now you will see what's really going on within this whole $1 bill, and that's why it is the way it is, and it's designed this way for a purpose. How many people can actually cipher that out, man? I heard a lot of people saying it already, but I added on to it as well because I'm seeing the barbed wire. I never heard anybody look at the barbed wire of the both times with the captivity. I'm not boastful, but I'm just trying to show. So now you know, so you can go tell somebody else and share this message, y'all. Keep surviving. And again, pick up the book Exposing the Ways of the Wicked for a better detail and description of what I said, as well as more information, you know, in regards to everything going on in this world, the war on black people who are the Israelites, the reasoning behind it. I spoke upon this virus and the plans and plots that these people are up to do for this many things that they're still gonna push forward, even the RFID chip, because this is next to come. The virus is not over. It will continue to spread. It will mutate. It will grow, and they need to know who took the vaccination from who didn't. So the best way they're gonna do that is by putting an RFID chip in your skin. And in your right hand or your forehead. So prepare for everything, because that's what's to come next, y'all. Keep surviving. Stay strong. Shalom.